संस्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चिद्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। So how to end suffering and find lasting happiness. So as has been spoken of in the Sankhya Yoga, what's the goal of life? Very specifically they have mentioned very nicely. There's Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti Parama Sukha Prapti. That whatever may be your profession, whatever may be your way of life, there is no one who wants suffering, and there is no one who doesn't want happiness. So this is the thing which we all want. But the problem is that the way which we adopt sometimes, we are not aware, that we take it for granted that happiness is something which I am bound to get. And we are not aware what's the real cause of suffering. So you will find that the external circumstances, which we always think that it is the external circumstances which is the cause of our suffering, which is the cause of our joy. The very first thing we have to remember that the external circumstances cannot create lasting happiness. No external circumstances. But what can create lasting happiness? The right state of mind. So how you are reacting to the situation. The situation itself is not the cause of our suffering or happiness. I won't say it's not the cause. Maybe it's just a very small part of your suffering. The majority part, the maximum suffering comes how you are mentally reacting to that cause of suffering. So that's the thing. Just to give an example, that external circumstances really doesn't make us happy. Sometimes we will find people are addicted in buying lottery tickets, isn't it? Thinking that once I get the lottery, I will be happy ever. But it has been found that even the person who wins this lottery, you will find at last what has happened. It's very momentary, very momentary. Those are the peoples we have found that really goes to depression. Because the way they were expecting tremendous happiness, nothing happens. You go to the peak and it falls, and you find there's as such no change in your life in spite of the fact that you have won a lottery. And sometimes for the suffering also just the opposite thing. What we think that those who are going through some severe illness, say cancer patient, or someone even who has become paralyzed, we think that they're very, very unhappy. But very interesting, it has been found, it is a fact of research, it's not that we are saying, that they too start living quite a normal life after that, when the initial shock is over. It's not that they become depressed. Most of them, I won't say all, but most of them somehow develop the capacity to cope up with their situation and start leading a normal life. So the question is that what you are going through is not the real cause of suffering or happiness. The real cause of suffering or happiness lies in the mind. You will find that when you are agitated, for some reason you are depressed, and then you will find if your state of mind is not proper, even the friend, the most benevolent friend, he becomes your enemy. Whatever suggestions he gives, you feel it's wrong. You think there is no person as bad as that person. You will find it happens. Much later, in the life of Ramakrishna also it used to happen a lot. One of his nephews, name was Haladhari. Now and then he will come and slander Ramakrishna, abuse Ramakrishna, and after a few days he will come and ask for forgiveness. And he says, now I have understood, you are so great. And Ramakrishna will ask him, is it for the last time? Are you sure? Are you sure? And the same thing will be repeated again and again. After a few days, again Haladhari comes and will again So it goes on. In our life, we will find the same thing happens. So many times we think, oh, I was really in a bad shape of my mind, and to my near and dear one I have abused, like anything, you slander. And I ask, and even if not I verbally say, ask for forgiveness, mentally I take a resolution. No more. I won't want, we go on doing. What it speaks of? The state of mind. If you are not in a proper state of mind, the world becomes a hell. There's a nice story that a monk used to sit just beneath a tree outside a village. And now any newcomer used to come and used to say that we want to settle in this village. The monk and he used to ask the monk that how is the village? Is it a place where all the peoples are very amiable or very quarrelsome? Is it a very happy place where people are happy? Or is it a very place where are really suffering from abject misery? And this monk will ask, how was your previous village? Well, if it was nice, well, this is a very nice place. And how it was? Oh, it was horrible. It's a horrible place. So what's your state of mind is, that speaks of your world. As simple as that. So to be really happy, we have to think of how to eliminate all the negative, our thoughts, and how to cultivate positive mental states. So we will take some 7 key points today. So a few of them in this first half and the second again in the second half. The first key point, that know it for certain, is a very vital thing. That whenever we are unhappy, we are cocooned within ourselves. The first thing you have to go out and be empathetic towards others. It's a very, very important. Sometimes we don't realize. So cultivating universal compassion is a way to a healthier, happier life. It's very important. So what actually is compassion? The word compassion compassion comprised of 2 things, 2 components. One is called empathy and another is altruism. Empathy and altruism. What is empathy? To really feel from the bottom of your heart the other's suffering. That I have the capacity to open my shoes and then wear the other person's shoes and really feel that why that person was limping. It pinches. So unless you open your shoe and open the other person's shoe, you feel that that person most probably is feigning, or most probably he has some defect. You never have a clear understanding that what he is really going through. To understand what he is going through, you have to open your shoes and wear the other shoes. What it simply means, to really see that person from his perspective, not from your perspective. So that speaks of empathy. And what is altruism? That after really feeling from the bottom of your heart that how he's feeling, you really move out. You act in certain way so that I can remove that suffering. So it is not just feeling accompanied with doing. That these 2 components together speaks of compassion. So now we will feel that we are all compassionate, but you will find what happens in the morning. I see the news, all the bad news. I feel from the bottom of my heart. Sometimes I do feel what suffering is going on. But the next question, what are we doing out of it? So it just becomes something very passive. We just feel. All our energy is wasted only in feeling. We never think of doing something that what we feel. That Swamiji used to say that so much of energy is wasted only in feeling. We never do something. That's why he used to say that all sorts of compassion actually is a component which has 3 H. So what are the 3 H? Head, hand and heart. So with your heart you have to feel, that speaks of the empathy. And with hand you have to just try to act on it, or your feeling, so that I can alleviate the suffering to as much as possible. And head speaks of, we have to be very much cautious. Sometimes we are very impulsive. That we see someone suffering and immediately go out to help others, but we don't judge that does he really need the help? Just like an example I will give, a blind person was standing just by the side of the road, and it has been taught to the young children, please help them to cross the road. And so he immediately caught him and helped him to cross the road. After crossing the road, this old man asked, "Where have you brought me?" I was actually not intending to cross the road. He was just standing by there. So first to know the proper intention, and then, so this head, hand, heart, these three components should go together. And this, when we speak of empathy, unless you're really feeling from the other's perspective, it is very difficult to really have empathy. To give an example, very simple example. We recently had Buddha Purnima. So one of the disciples of Buddha in India in those days, there was this caste system. But Buddha, he was the rebel child of Hinduism. So many all the evil practices of the Hinduism that he revolted against. That's why Swamiji told he's a rebel child of Hinduism. So he was against the caste system, broke the caste system. And among his disciples, many were there from the lowest of the lowly. One such was Swasti. He used to tend on the buffaloes. From there he was picked up. So this Swasti was an orphan. And when his father and mother died, they were just young. They were just, Swasti himself was just 12 years old, and he had some young sister. They were still younger. So one was 5, one was 4. And one night, after tending the buffaloes throughout the day, there's the buffaloes of some rich person. He used to tend and used to get some money, meager amount for that. At night, he came back. He was totally exhausted. Now, when he was about to sleep, the sister started crying. And now, we all can relate. After throughout the day's work, this child is crying. And especially we find in the plane, I found when going to Perth once it happened. There were so many children, they most probably that their ear gets blocked. And that's a very uneasy sensation. We also have that, but children cannot bear it. They start crying chorously. And I literally felt, why not pick them all up and throw out of the window? So you feel like so that's the thing at night. This crying, just so loudly they're crying. And then this Swasti got up and spanked them nicely. Only to realize early in the morning that she was having high fever. And now Swasti was repenting. And when Swasti remembered this, when Buddha was giving a sermon on compassion, that he was saying that you have to first understand why the other person is suffering. Till you have that understanding, there you can never have empathy. So most of the time we will find that we never try to understand the real cause of the suffering, the perspective of the other person. And we become judgmental, too much judgmental. I have heard a very nice story that, a serial killer was actually interviewed. And when he was saying the reason that why he became like that, it was not actually serial killer. He just, in one instance, only out of rage, he killed in one go, 2-3 person. It was not a serial. So he was just facing life sentence. He was in the jail and he was interviewed. And he told that my upbringing was such that this to be angry was something very, very habitual. Well, how? That we grew up in some refugee camp. There were no schools, proper schools. Some school for the refugees it was in a camp, and all these children of the refugees, they used to go to that school, and all were a bit violent because they have all gone through this, this situation which made them a bit violent. And he said that the bit elderly ones were quite bossy. They will always try to bully over the young ones. That's a common thing. And this man is saying that when I was young, on my birthday, my brother gave me a very expensive watch. And I was wearing it, and with that I went to the school. And some senior student, he started bullying me. He said, "Open the watch, give it to me." I thought he was just joking. Twice, thrice he told, I ignored. He told, "Give the watch or I will stab you." I thought he's just joking. It cannot be. How can he just simply stab me because I don't give him the watch? And literally, after 4 or 5 times when he was asked, he didn't give. Somehow he brought out a knife and stabbed him on his wrist. He was profusely bleeding. He went back running. He ran back to his house for getting some first aid. And he saw his father. Father was there just out of the house. He was doing some work, outdoor work. And seeing his son bleeding, he went inside. He told that someone has stabbed me. So immediately he went inside. He thought most probably father has gone to bring some first aid. Instead, his father brought a knife and gave it to him. Go and stab the boy who stabbed you. So this is the background in which he is growing up. Just see, because in the refugee camp, this all came from that violent background. That the proper... so he's saying that this is the way. So now if you hear this, won't you feel that I am lucky? I am born in a family, I have a very loving father, loving mother. If I would have been born in that type of family, can I claim I would have been something better? Who knows? So instead of getting angry, most probably I will have sympathy. That's how lucky, that's I will have a sense of gratitude. That Lord has just given me birth in a nice family. I have a loving father, loving mother, loving relations. If I would have been in that situation, would I have been something different? Who knows? Most probably I would have been something worse. Who knows? So compassion can well up from your heart if you really know the perspective, if you really know the background. So that's why these are the things which is not conditional, that in certain conditions only I can develop sympathy. The idea is in any condition, in any situation, compassion is possible if we really know how to train our mind. This is very important. So this was the first key point. Cultivating universal compassion is a way of healthier, happier life. Now question is it really a way of healthier life? Yes. It is a proven fact that the more compassionate we are, the more healthier we are, the more long life you enjoy. It's a therapeutic. They have started saying our genes are altruistic. Previously, there was a book a few decades back. The name of the book was Selfish Genes. That as per the theory of Darwin's theory of evolution, it is the struggle for existence which leads to survival of the fittest. So from that, the notion was that we all have to think of our own good. And that is only competition. But now in science, you will find some words have been coined. They have started saying, what these words? Synergy. The biggest example of synergy is in Australia. If you go to the coral reef, for thousands of years in that harsh ocean weather, these very vulnerable creatures, as they have synergized, they live for ages. Nothing can disturb them. So the more you cooperate, the more you stay together, the more it speaks of your well-being, others' well-being. Atmana moksha, jagat hita. It's a proven fact that our genes, when you do something good to others, immediately you feel happy. I will just give one example. In our hostel, in Ramakrishna Mission, in India, when there is a public celebration, lot of people come in thousands. And now to distribute the prasadam, we need a lot of volunteers. And we do have volunteers. But we always think that the school, the students we have, they should also experience the bliss that comes out of giving. So we will keep some fixed hours. That 1 hour, it is you who have to serve. So people will be coming, the people will be just visiting in throngs, and you have to serve them with the prasadam, this khichdi or whatever it is. And every year, the students whose name will be in the list, you will find they will think that we are unlucky ones. We somehow got caught up. This is a very, very hard job, because they have seen the previous batch. The seniors have got backache after all those things they have seen. So it's a very hard job. This 1 hour, carrying those big, these urns of khichdi, full of khichdi, serving. So they will try to avoid. And we know every year it's a common thing. We will be very strict. No. So you have, your name is there, you have to. And very interesting. So only for 1 hour we used to keep for the students. After that, the volunteers will take over. When they start with all those, those ideas, we are not going to do it somehow, as early as possible, we try to escape. And once they start, after 1 hour, when the volunteers go to just take over the work, they won't give. They got the test. This is a very interesting thing. Very interesting thing. At home, you make it a point that if you have to really donate something, somehow make your children instrumental. They find the bliss. In this, just in India, it has started here also most probably, that on birthday, instead of having the party for just with the friends, that why not that those who are deprived, those are the unfortunate ones, we will give some feast for them. We will arrange for a feast for them. It is you who will serve. The one whose birthday is, it will serve. You know that there cannot be a greater birthday gift than that. Now, you may just, when you are hearing, you may find it's nothing. But the one who is doing it, know it for certain, we are built in such a way that the love something comes from within. See, when the mother loves the child, can the mother say that I am loving the child? It was within. It automatically comes out, isn't it? When you are really giving someone some donation, you find a bliss coming. It comes from within. Don't feel you are the doer. We are built in such a way, whether you believe in God or not. Those who don't believe in God, they will say evolution has taught us that way. Well and good. But the fact is, whether evolution has taught us or whether God, whatever it is, the fact is we are built in such a way that the more we really relate to the world, the more you will be happier. When one person came to Swami Vivekananda, he's saying that every day I meditate closing the doors and windows with my eyes. I cannot concentrate my mind. I cannot focus my mind. Constantly he will say that. And then Swami Vivekananda told you, do one thing. What's the thing you have to do? Well, open your eyes, open the doors, windows, move out. The more you think of others, the less you think of yourself, the happier you will be. This is a very simple thing. The first key point was cultivating universal compassion is a way for a healthier, happier life. The next, you will find, I can relate to all this. Cultivating real love for lasting relationships. It's a very, very pertinent question nowadays. But how to be happy? We take that romanticism is all behind the relations. That this tremendous urge of emotion. I think with this I'm going to live the life. And what happens, we used to joke. When I came to Sydney for the first time, I went in Wollongong. Near the ocean, there was some railing. And there were a lot of these locks. It was locked in the railing. And I never knew that what it is. And I asked that why these locks are there in the railing. They told, well, it's a resolution. These boys and girls who are in love, they come, they will bring a lock and key, and they will just lock it and throw the key in the ocean. Our relation is going to be forever. And then the Swami who just was describing this, he was the Swami here, Chandrasekharananda. In 2013 to 15, he was here. That's the Swami with whom I was visiting that Wollongong. And then the next remark was very interesting. He told, but you know, the next year they all will come in search of the key. Where they have thrown it. So the next year they will come in search of the key. Why? What's the real love actually? We never realize as a human being, we have a faculty which we are not using nowadays. It was in the olden days we are using. Nowadays we are not using. Love is not just a mere emotion. It is the emotion which is guided by your will. The more we can do that, that's a human faculty. No other creature can do that. The love guided by the will. Everywhere we do it. A politician, before taking the oath as a minister, first he has to take the oath. This oath is supposed to guide his passion for this politics or ministry, isn't it? A sportsman, in the Olympic Games, everywhere, first they take the oath. There's some resolution. A doctor takes the Hippocratic oath. In the marriage ceremony, there is some oath. And wherever we take oath, you will find a very interesting thing. It is always in front of others, isn't it? That's why, the marriage ceremony, why there's a ceremony, why we call people. When you are getting married, why not simply just take a resolution and just get married? Because when you are taking resolution, if others don't know, then what's the resolution it is? Any day you can break. Resolution becomes strong only when others people know. So that's why all the celebrations. So what's the idea behind it? That is, we have as a human being have the capacity to guide our emotions with our will. And this we forget. This we forget whenever we are entering life, that our own needs become so important, so pertinent, that we really start forgetting that what oaths we are taking. So this is the thing. At last we forget one thing, that with all separation, after all, comes loneliness and unhappiness, which we can never deny. Loneliness, unhappiness, as one of our Swami Sunishthananda, who passed away recently, our president. Whenever, even we as Swami sometimes cannot adjust, fight. So we are supposed to be in one center, adjust there, have a nice life, but for small reasons we will be fighting. They're selfish reasons. I cannot adjust for such and such reasons, some petty reasons. And then we used to come back to Belur Math. Why? Because Smarnandaji himself, when he was General Secretary, he told that all the centers are like your in-laws' house. Belur Math is your father's house. If you have problem, come here. We will give shelter. So we used to come, we used to go. And now our visiting Belur Math became so frequent. Now he started saying something different. You say your condition, is what like what? It's just like as if you are, I won't deny that you are getting fried. I won't deny. You are getting fried in a pan and you jump and you fall in the oven. So in our life you will find that most of the time that we think I have the freedom to come out of it. And I forget, I don't know the consequence of it. That I was getting fried, but now I was in the pan, now I fall in the oven. So that's why Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Shaw, Shaw, Shaw. There are in Bengali or in Indian language, there are three S, not one S. One is pronounced with a hissing sound. Another S, you just touch the teeth, upper, this row of teeth. Sa, Sha, with a hissing, so three Sha. And another, the tongue should roll and touch the palate, and that another Sha. Three Shas are there. Why Sri Ramakrishna has his own commentary, that why there are three S? Because it speaks of, in Sanskrit, Sahya. Sahya means to forbear, Sahana. Sri Ramakrishna used to play with words. He used to say, Shaw, Shaw, Shaw. Je shoy, she roy. Je na shoy, tar na shoy. The one, it's a very, he's playing pun with the words in Bengali. So those who understand Bengali, they will understand the beauty of it. The one who can forbear, his life is integrated. Otherwise, your life gets disintegrated. So this is the thing we should always remember, that there's a very nice story, so many times I relate, that a person went to a monk to relate throughout this life, his life is miserable because he has been betrayed by others in so many ways. And the monk never replied. He told, okay, well, he listened to all his issues, his problems, and then he took him to the backyard of his monastery. The backyard, there were a lot of maple trees that defined the boundary. The maple trees defined the boundary. And those maple trees were actually nailed with a barbed wire. As it was defining the boundaries, it was nailed by the barbed wire. Now this monk told a very interesting thing, that when I purchased this property, these maple trees were all young. And now they have grew. And my previous owner, he made this as the stump. He made it a point that I will just plant the trees on the boundary, and he used them as a stump and nailed this barbed wire. It is not me, it is only he did. And now these trees have grown. They are all big trees. The monk then took him near a tree which has a very curved growth. There's a lot of curvatures. And the monk told, this tree, when it was young, it was nailed with the barbed wire and it was constantly reacting. Why me? Why me? Why this barbed wire should be on me? Why? And in life, it is good to think of solution for your problem. It is good. But you will find in 90% of the cases, problems have no solution. If there is a solution, of course we should try. But there are problems where there is no solution. You have to stay with it. You have to accept it. And this why has no meaning. So this tree was asking why? Its growth has got so curved. And then he took to a corner another tree. It was a straight tree, and the barbed wire has went through the core of the trunk. It has went through the core of the trunk, but the tree has grown straight. And you see, this tree knew that it is going to be with me. I cannot get rid of it. I have to accept it. Once it accepts it, now its growth is in no way hindered. It has grown straight. So again and again we are saying that how you are reacting to the situation. In most of the cases in our life, you will find that speaks of our real happiness. Not the real situation is. In most of the cases we will find that somehow we never knew the art of reacting properly. Once we know that, so then we will find that the external circumstances cannot disturb us. Another thing we should always remember, that suffering is a natural part of our life, okay? But we often increase it unnecessarily. Now, suffering is inevitable. As Buddha's very first Arya Satya, the first noble truth is, there is suffering. Who can deny it? After all, we are not going to live eternally. I still remember when I was posted to Arunachal Pradesh, Narottam Nagar, the principal of the school from whom I took charge, so he was Swami Sunishthananda. So in his table, in bold letters it was written, "One day we shall all die, we shall all die one day." Very interesting. I never thought that why he has written that. It is a Swami from Swami Vivekananda's work. He has got it and he has written there. And I found that as a headmaster, there are many ways to really teach the students. It was actually not meant for him. It was written in such a bold letters, and all the students used to come to his office now and then for some work. And they will see that. And seeing that, they took it as a joke, as something funny. But they started repeating. In so many occasions, I would hear them repeating that thing. That one day we shall all die, we shall all die one day. Sorry. So this Buddha is saying that this jara, vyadhi, mrityu, who can avoid? No one can avoid. Suffering in life is inevitable. We can never just avoid it. Then what's the way out? There are two ways out. One is just like the hare, the rabbit. When the rabbit is attacked by the predator, say the dog is attacking the rabbit, is chased by it. At last the rabbit finds it cannot run, he will be caught. So what the rabbit will do, it will somehow dig a hole in the soil and hide its face. Now it cannot see the predator, it thinks it's safe. Is it safe? So at home, sometimes I am alone, no one is there. And suddenly I think, if I die, I cannot face myself. Immediately I run out, let's go and have some party, isn't it? Enjoy. So that's what we are doing. It's like the rabbit, we are in the name of socializing, having a happy life, we are just hiding our face in that hole. Can we really run away from these pertinent questions of life? Impossible. So that's one way. And another thing is finding the answer of the question by trying to relate to some other perspective. This is the example which we give again and again. In life, there are so many questions of which we have no answer. Why, Is it really we have no answer? So I will ask, there the young ones are there, one question. You can try. What is that? Try to draw exactly 4 triangles by joining 4 points. Can you do it? Exactly 4 triangles by joining 4 points. What to speak of? Even the elders cannot do it. Impossible. Either this two lines will intersect to create the 5th point. Okay? 4 points won't be there. Or else 2 triangles together will make another extra triangle. You'll find it's always more than 4. So one teacher asked this question to the students, and the students couldn't answer. Naturally, it says no answer for this. And then the teacher solved the problem. He spotted 3 points in the whiteboard or blackboard, whatever it is. Nowadays in the school you have whiteboard or blackboard. White or black? Huh? White. So on the whiteboard, so we used to have blackboard. So now on the whiteboard, 3 points, he just spotted 3 points, and with joining the 3 points you get only one triangle, isn't it? Only one triangle. Now he asks the students to imagine the 4th point in the space, not in the board. Imagine it in the space. Now from each of the 3 points you draw a line. What will you get? A triangular pyramid with exactly 4 faces, isn't it? So why you couldn't get the answer? Because you were trying to solve the problem only in 2 dimensions of the page, isn't it? If you would have taken the 3rd dimension, you would have got the answer. So all the life problem has no solution, because only we think this life is the only life. Nothing else is there. If you really are aware of the spiritual dimension of our existence, the life's problem can be easily, we can be quite detached from it. That after all, it's a journey. It's not the be all and end all of my existence. It's just a journey, of which is just, I will try to make the journey as joyful as possible, but it's not my end. The moment this dimension opens up, everything, the way we look at life, that changes. So that is the very important thing, that as Swami Vivekananda used to say, another important thing is, you will find in this life, as a young person we are also optimistic, but as we get old, somehow we find that people are getting depressed, as if what to do with the life, there is no solution. So this will go from one pole to the other. Why, you know? Because when we are young, we think it is my talent, my skill. We forget one thing, that nature gives you in bounty at certain point of time. That's at certain age, to have intelligence, to have the capacity to work, nature has given you. If it was yours, you would have lived with it through eternity. But the nature knows when to take it away. When we start aging, in spite of all our attempt, in spite of, we every day you open, who are making the biggest market now, that yes, apply this cream, all the wrinkles will vanish. Why? Because we all want to be young, but we cannot. However you may try, however you may try, you cannot. The nature is going to take away everything. So Swami is saying a very interesting thing. As you have to give away, give willingly. But again the question of empathy comes. That when I know that someone is bullying me, he's going to take away anything. So if he just comes and snatches away from me, I will be insulted. Why not say, I give it to you? Okay, so give it willingly. Give it willingly. The nature is the biggest bully. At last it will take away everything. So don't allow the nature to bully you. Before that only you say, no, you do not have to force me. I am giving everything willingly. The more we can do that, the more we are happier with ourselves. This common source of unnecessary suffering is the unnecessary hanging onto the past negative things. There's no need. You are in the present. So many things has happened in the past. Swamiji used to say, let the dead bury the dead. Let the dead bury the dead. We just go on harboring this, the past. This life has no replay button. No replay button. You can, video some portion you like, you can go and replay. Life has no replay button. What's done is done. Why to just simply spend your time in the past, of which we have no control? We have neither any control over the past nor over the future. Most unpredictable thing. As Swamiji in one place saying, the only predictable thing about future is death. Other nothing else. Nothing else you can predict. That you can predict. Yes, today or tomorrow, someday, it is waiting for me. Other than that, nothing I can predict. Life is having its own course. And as in the Invitation of Christ, there's a very nice line. Man proposes, God disposes. So many things we have proposed in our life. From retrospect, I will find life has taken its own course. Those who are elderly, they will understand this word very well. That the way we thought our life will go, has it really that carried us that way? So many things has happened, we will find, which was not even in our plan. So man proposes, God disposes. So be in the present. We have control only over the present. At this moment, I can decide what I am going to do or what I am not going to do. I can decide. Kartum akartum anyatha kartum. These are things. Should I do it this way or in some other way, or I shouldn't do it? This all actually refers to the present only. Past, I cannot change. Future. Someone was just messaging me, a message after just texting me, text after text, only about his worry, and was asking for some suggestion. That's only one line I wrote: don't worry over your worries. As a worry is like a rocking chair, you do something, you go nowhere. Isn't it? It's like a rocking chair in the same place. What's the use of it? If you have to make some plans, that is good, but worrying is of no use. So this is the thing which you have to learn. Suffering is natural part, but we shouldn't increase it by suffering unnecessarily. And we can eliminate the negative attitudes, feelings and habits only through sustained effort. It's very easy. What we are saying, it seems very commonsensical. All can understand. But as Sri Ramakrishna used to say very nicely, Tablar bol mukhe bola sahoj, hate ana kothin. That when you are learning percussion or any instrumental music, the teacher comes and speaks you the rhyme, the rhythm in which you have to play, and asks you to repeat. It takes 2 minutes. You memorize, you can say. Now he says play. It will take months, isn't it? So just to speak out is very easy. To really internalize it, bring it to your life, that's the thing which requires sustained practice. That's why Swamiji used to speak of 3P: purity, patience, perseverance. We can take purity in a more broader sense: positivity, patience, perseverance. That try to be positive in all situations of life. It's not easy. Again and again we will fail. But if we fail and think it is impossible, impractical, we will be missing the point. In life, nothing we have learned just by first attempt. When you were learning cycling, swimming, walking, when we have started walking, how many times we failed? And this failure, always through failure it comes. We have to be persistent. We have to go on trying and have patience. So this is the thing which we should always keep in mind, that eliminate the negative attitudes with the positive. That when you are having anger and fear, try to cultivate love, compassion, patience, generosity. These are the things. Even in the present cognitive behavioral therapy, that's what they are speaking of. That how to practice this patience, even in the anger. It's very important. I will just with one story. The first half is almost over, so we will maintain the time. So in a monastery, a monk was very quarrelsome, very quarrelsome. Without reason, throughout the day he will just go on quarreling with others. He will find some petty issues and start quarreling. All were fed up with him. And one day in the morning, he was terribly annoyed with all. He told, it's impossible to stay with you. I'm leaving. And he literally left. And all were relieved. At last. So it's not we who have to throw him out. He himself has left. Very good. Now the abbot of the monastery, the old monk, he was a very compassionate person. He was very much worried. Where he has gone, he will be in a very, very challenging situation outside. He doesn't know the external world. After all, monastery people think that it's a place of challenge, but it's a place like, like an aquarium, where the fishes are there. At proper time, food is there, everything is there. So no challenge actually. It's a very peaceful life. So the abbot thought, where will he go and how will he face the challenges of life? So he was in search. He himself went out, and after 2-3 days he came back with that monk. All were frustrated. What was the need? Why you brought him back? And the abbot's reply was wonderful. Unless he is there, how will you practice patience? So we can always take that life. Swamiji used to say very interesting, that life is not a pleasure garden. It's a gymnasium where we have came to make ourselves strong. Sometimes we think that we are facing the challenges of life by developing some skills. I can deal with them. Know it for certain. When you develop the skills, you will find challenges have also increased. You know why? Because it's a gymnasium. In the gymnasium, when you are quite, habituated with some, say 10 kilo weight, the trainer will come and increase it, isn't it? Another 20 kg. So the trainer waiting is there. He wants to make you strong. It is not here that it's a pleasure garden where you have came for just to enjoy. Enjoyment is just a relaxation when you have in a gym for some time to get, again, revive back your energy, that much. but it is, you have to work hard. It's a gymnasium where we have to make ourselves strong. This we have to remember. The once you remember this basic fact of life, that it is to build myself up, for that this life is. It's a constant training, not only in school. Jabot bachi tabot shiki. Sri Ramakrishna says, as long as I live, so long do I learn. Jabot bachi tabot shiki. So this education goes on. Maybe not only through books, but through our life's experience. And that's the main education. It has to go on throughout our life. And that's the thing, the one who takes the life in that as an adventure, for him, that the life will be giving you fulfillment again and again. Just when you are climbing up a mountain, it's a quite assiduous journey, challenging, but now and then you just stand in a corner and enjoy the scenery. Life in the same way can be adventurous, if I take it in that positive way, that it's an adventure. It's an adventure, but let me face it, and I will be just in reaching the milestones, but I shouldn't take them to be the final destiny and stop there. The journey should go on. So it will go on again after half an hour or 15 minutes. I am not sure, 15 minutes. Let's have a tea break, and then again our journey will goes on for another 45 minutes. Okay, thank you. Namaskar.